And what I've also learned is you don't need to have like millions of subscribers to have a successful business. You could buy followers anywhere, but that doesn't mean that you're going to have a thriving business. So
Hey everyone, this is One Thing That Worked. Today my guest is Brian Gryn, who's an entrepreneur in health and wellness fields, a host of Get Lean, Eat Clean podcast, and BrianGryn.com founder. Brian, welcome to the show.
thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
So let's cut right to the chase. Tell us about your business.
I didn't start right away in health and wellness. I used to be in the corporate world and realized shortly that I was really into fitness and nutrition. So started my business back, it's been probably over 15 years ago, and started training individuals at a gym, a small studio. And then, once COVID hit, I actually moved everything online. I still see some clients, but mainly working with middle-aged men, sort of this transformative health journey that I'm trying to take them through, build strength and sustainable, healthy habits so, they can live a thriving life. And so, that was sort of the niche that I dove into over the last, 5 to 10 years and just been running with it ever since.
So what is the thing that worked the best for you since you decided to go into that direction, Brian?
Well, I would say that we talked a little bit about having a niche, right? So, as I've gotten older, I think males, when it comes to health and wellness, sometimes, aren't always at the forefront. A lot of times it's geared towards women. And so I thought that, 40 plus males was sort of a niche that I felt, since I'm just turned 46, that I could relate to and help draw personal experiences and help them sort of, create custom wellness plans for them. So that was what led me down that road. And I think what's worked best is just creating a system around, certain lifestyle factors that can help you thrive as you get older. And honestly, at any age, but I think it's important to sort of have these principles that you follow and just take one step at a time. And that's what I've, sort of built my business around.
So was it something that helped you? Did it help your personal transformation? Did you kind of build on your own experience?
Yeah, for sure. I think I definitely drew from personal experience. Also, just, working with clients through the last 20 years, the importance of obviously, managing stress and sleep and keeping up and maintaining physical activity, and then nutrition and meal timing is obviously. So I think when I first started out, it was a lot of just strength training, physical activity. And then I've sort of grown it to the point where now you have to they all work encompassing together. If you have bad sleep, everything else is going to take a toll. So you have to really make sure that you're focusing on these main principles and doubling down on those, and then everything else should fall into place.
So speaking of one main thing that all of us should focus on, the number one will be sleep.
Yes. Yes. I would say yes. Prioritizing sleep. And a lot of that comes down to just establishing healthy habits, whether it's a nighttime routine and a wake-up routine. These are all things that can help you, establish good sleep patterns, day to day. And it doesn't happen overnight, but yes, I think like you said, if sleep is not going well, everything else takes a toll on everything else.
I'm curious for high-performing men. There's still some men look at the world through the lenses of I need to sleep less to achieve more, right? So what do you say to them?
It's a good question. Well, I would say that if they want to perform their best, that they have to prioritize sleep. And if if they continually get either bad quality sleep or not enough, it's gonna take a toll on their relationships and also on their business life. So I think that, again, you want to have parameters around, grabbing like 6 to 8 hours of sleep, I would say, in that time frame. And some people can get a little bit more, some people less, but I would just say that like it'll affect everything down the road if you don't prioritize it. And so, if they want to be their best in the weight room or in business, I think that, they have to do that. So.
Okay, let's get back to the business talk again. So
Sure.
You have these clients who work with you, and I assume, seeing some of my friends who are in the same space, it's really long-term clients. So you kind of have them for a long haul. It's great. It's not only client to provider relationships. It's almost a friendly relationships in a way, right? So how were you able to find your first clients, and how are you able to sustain the number of clients that let you live a comfortable life, Brian?
Sure. I mean, initially, most of my clients were word of mouth. And so this just led from referrals and people I knew. So really warm market. As the business has evolved, I've created different tools and ways for individuals to find me. Obviously, nowadays with social media or through my YouTube channel and the podcast, along with creating like a book funnel where I've written a book around these healthy habits. And so individuals can read the book. And, obviously, if they're reading the book, that's going to intrigue them to learn more about, what it takes to sort of work with me. And so there's, you sort of have these tenets that are out there. And some people like to read, some people like to watch or listen. And it's just a way for people to consume information and then, sort of make a decision and to sort of come into my world and maybe perhaps become a potential client.
But there are so many competitors right now. How were you able to grasp the attention in a world where people have just so little of it left?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a competitive space. I think what's important is really focusing on like I said, like a niche. A specific avatar. Because if you try to sort of throw out this umbrella on everybody, and not have a specialization, then, if you try to get everyone, you'll probably end up with no one. So you're better off picking a specific type of person that is your client and focus on all your materials and all your content on that individual.
Does that mean you have to say no to money on the table at times?
Sure. I mean, not everyone's a fit. I mean, if someone comes to me and I don't feel like I can help them in a certain way, I'm not going to take them on as a client. And that's happened. And so, yes, I mean, it needs to go both ways because, sometimes you don't vibe or with an individual and there's other people that can maybe help them more.
Yeah, I interview lots of podcasters, and this pattern repeats itself. That the more specialized, the more niche the podcasters are, the more are the chances for them to grow. I had a guy who's in a very technical field. They talk about statistics. He's a scientist working at Meta, and he's focused on really niche specialty in math. They're like, so you see, it's an interesting blueprint that people can follow. The only problem is that we all want to be generalists, I think, in a way, especially entrepreneurs. And it's really difficult to just say no to all the other things that you think and only focus on this one thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I think there's a great book. Now I'm drawing a blank on the book. Do I have it here? But yeah, I mean, yes, I think it's easy to sort of, especially nowadays, and I've fallen into the trap of, trying to do a bunch of different things. It's like you just want to focus on one thing, And same thing when it goes to like social media, I would say is like, you don't have to be everywhere. I mean, I'm on a few different platforms, but like some people really specialize in like LinkedIn or YouTube, which is where I put, I would say YouTube, I'd probably put most of my efforts into. But other people are on Instagram. And so there's definitely ways to reach people. It's not so easy and it takes time. But if you try to be everywhere, that's when you'll be nowhere.
Yeah. Is your approach to content production because obviously talking to people on your podcast and writing a book seems like two different worlds, right? So were it like consecutive things that you done one after another, or did you do that simultaneously? Like, what was your approach?
Yeah, simultaneously. I mean, the book came about, took me probably 6 months. I worked with a company to help me create the book. And so as I was doing that on the side, but I also had help doing it. I mean, with any of this stuff. So I did them together and the podcast as well. But yeah, I mean, it definitely can be time consuming, but nowadays I think if you hire and help and have the right people help you sort of through that process, it can make it a lot easier.
Let's talk about YouTube. I'm going to ask you, what are the main things that you think helping you to grow your audience on YouTube?
Yeah. So, I would say, consistency is one thing. Doesn't mean you have to post something on YouTube every day. Consistency, and then having good thumbnails and titles are very important.
Right, spot on.
Nowadays, I don't like to be like clickbaity, but like, there's so much, like you said, there's so much content out there. People need to be intrigued. And I'm still trying to figure out what the best way to do that is. But I think if you put out content that is like true to yourself and you just double down on that, I think the right people will find you. And what I've also learned is you don't need to have like millions of subscribers to have a successful business. There's plenty of people who have 5,000, 10,000 subscribers but they're very loyal and the engagement is high. And I think that's most important thing. I mean, you could buy followers anywhere, but that doesn't mean that you're going to have a thriving business. So I think it's really important to just speak to engagement more than anything.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a focal idea, I think, in terms of YouTube, that you have to understand that there's a difference between your personal blog project, and vanity metrics, chasing these views to make you feel better, to fill some kind of a void that I think you should discuss with your therapist, right? And there's another path where you actually need the right people to see your stuff. So if you want to sell, we're actually a video production company, and we also produce podcasts for brands. And our clients, they don't have thousands of subscribers, but they have people who listen, who make purchasing decisions, right, that drive revenue and helps their business grow. So yeah, I think you're right on point here. Brian, from your experience running this business, what would be the lesson that you wanna people take away as we're wrapping up? And also tell us where people can find you and how they can work with you.
I would say that, I think there's a lot of people who are in different avenues and they have jobs where they maybe feel a little bit stuck. And I think that it's important to maybe create like a backup plan and have something on the side that they're passionate about. It doesn't have to be a full-time income, but it could be something that they enjoy and that is a passion of theirs. And I think that's important, just to start with that and keep their regular jobs, because you never know. Over time goes, and it could build to more than that. So have like a passion project would be my word of advice for that.
That's exactly what happened with you, right? This is how you transitioned, I assume.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, exactly. Being in the corporate world, because I have a lot of friends who are in the corporate world. They're not so happy, but they know that they don't really have any avenues other than that. So I think, yeah, I mean, time is of the essence. I think it's important to maybe have something on the side as well as almost like a backup plan, but something that you're passionate about. So that would be my advice. And then
on this point, Brian, before we close on this point, I like this question. Maybe you can weigh in.
Yeah.
When is the time for corporate people? When is the best time for them to leave then? When is this time when they can safely leave and try a backup plan?
Well, safely leave, I would say, when their backup plan is becoming maybe, as well as
the same. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. And that's, based on the individual. But yes, so that might take some time, but yeah, that's the whole idea of starting it early and just, very part-time, even if it's an hour a day or a half hour a day of doing that.
Well, the problem is that if you don't like make a conscious effort or invest yourself into this thing, it will stay as a hobby, right? So there's like you gotta need to take a leap in a way, I think.
Yeah, you are right about that. You are right. Right. I think yes, start small, but yes, eventually you'll have to take the leap. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So how people can work with you? Who are you interested in working with? Because I know you have limited capacity.
Yeah, so briangryn.com. You can go on there and check out all the content. And I mean, I work with all different types of people, mainly middle-aged men, 40 plus, and maybe they're sick and tired of where they're at when it comes to their health, and they sort of want to create some sustainable habits for their life. And so that's my main niche, and but they can check out all the content on my website and YouTube channel, and reach out if they want to just learn a little bit more. So
awesome. That was Brian Gryn, everybody. Thank you, Brian.
Yeah, thank you.